Welcome back to Radio Entrepreneurs. Again, my name is Jeffrey Davis, and I'm the proud host of the show. And we're airing, as we've been saying for the last couple of months, from our new studios in 119 Braintree Street in Allston, Mass. And as our line says, we're always sharing the success of entrepreneurship. And in front of me is not only a serial entrepreneur, an addict entrepreneur, but someone who's supported many entrepreneurs in his career, Abbot Gilman, serial entrepreneur, right?
Absolutely.
Good. And so, Abbot, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. Well, I grew up in Boston, Dorchester to be specific.
Dorchester.
My parents never got the email they were supposed to move out of the city to suburbs, so they moved from Dorchester to Roslindale to High Park. Went to Northeastern for my undergraduate degree, then Babson, which is in Wellesley, not too far. When I was at Northeastern, I co-opted Gillette in Boston, worked in 3 of their different divisions, first in Papermate, then in personal care and in toiletries.
I used to do some work for Gillette. There were a lot of Montrealers at Gillette.
A lot of Montrealers.
Used to be a farm system, the Montreal office.
Yeah, it was a great company to co-op for. When I graduated from Northeastern, I had 2.5 years of full-time work experience, and I used to say, let me go and interview against a kid from Harvard.
Right.
I love it. So after Gillette, I worked for DEC. I went right to work for DEC after
Digital Equipment Corp, for those who don't know what that is.
There are a lot of people that don't know what DEC is.
That's why I said
young
it.
kids.
Right.
But DEC was a wonderful, wonderful company. They were the number 2 computer company in the world after IBM at the time.
Right.
And just a fabulous place to work. I worked there from 76 when I graduated to 79 in the old OEM group, Original Equipment Manufacturers. And that was the largest group at DEC. It was a fabulous place to work. Left there from 79 to 81 and worked for another mini computer company called Data General.
Oh, yeah, DG.
That's right. I put together the the build plan for the company.
They're worst offices I've ever worked in. I couldn't breathe. They must have built the businesses with mold into the system.
Unbelievable place. It really was.
It was. You had to be tough to survive.
It was a hard company to work for, especially after digital. But I went back to DEC in 81.
Right.
And I worked at DEC from 1981 right up until 93 when I left to do my first company. And at DEC, I had a lot of different jobs. I was in product management. I was in marketing communications. I ran a large Marcom group. I did decision support systems. I did strategic and tactical planning. It was a great place to learn from.
Right.
And in 1992, 93, business wasn't going well in that industry.
Right.
And you'd come in the morning and you'd have to figure out, do I lay off Johnny or do I lay off Sally? And that wasn't a hell of a lot of fun.
Right.
So I went with the 2 best engineers in the group, and we started an Ethernet switching company. And that was a terrific space.
What was the name of that company?
That was called, what the hell was it called? A&T, Applied Network Technology. It was a long time ago.
Okay.
We sold the company a year and a half later for $35 million to a company called 4 Systems. 4 was not in the golf business.
Right.
4 was an acronym named after the first letters of the 4 founders, Francois, Onat, Robert, Eric, 4. So that was a $35 million deal, and we sold a lot of our Ethernet switches through them. I stayed with the company for about a year and a half and left in 97.
If I were coming to you today and I was, just graduating from business school, law school, and I said I wanted to be an entrepreneur, what advice would you give them with the history you've had?
Boy, that's a really good question.
I'm thinking of starting over, so.
You're thinking of starting over?
Why not?
Well, the first thing
Don't you start over many times?
Well, you always start over when you're doing something new, right?
Exactly.
You want to learn.
It makes you feel young.
I mean, what do I want to do? I want to learn. I want to have fun. And if you happen to make some money, that's great.
Absolutely.
You can donate it to charity. But, as far as advice goes, the first advice I think that's important is to really be an expert in the market segment that you're going after. You really need to understand who your competitors are, how big the market is, what the opportunity is, how the customers buy the product or service. That's really, really important. It's also important to really have the relationships so that you can build a management team, because I'd rather have a really good manager and management team and co-founder group going after a market that might not be as large than have a great business plan with a bunch of crummy people.
Right.
And that's generally the recipe for funding, regardless of where you get your funding.